One very frequent speaker on the topic of divorce and divorce recovery has a little trick to determine whether the audience is either primarily married or divorced. And the story goes like this. While driving by a park one day, a woman who was in the middle of a divorce process saw her ex-husband lying on a blanket in the park with his new girlfriend. She drove right into the park and ran over both of them. Now, yeah, you reacted the way I thought. Because the speaker said, when he tells this story, married people gasp in horror. But divorced people usually laugh. Sometimes they even ask, did he back over them again? Well, that's a humorous way to introduce a very serious subject in this session. We're going to talk about where the rubber really meets the road in divorce recovery. The most damaging emotion that you can have that will undercut your healing is ultimately that continuing, ongoing desire for revenge. And so we're going to take that head on and look at the subject of forgiveness. This is probably the most difficult and yet the most important lecture in this workshop. This, in effect, is where we have been moving through these weeks to try and get to the nub of where wholeness and healing really begins. Now, you're never going to feel like being forgiven or offering forgiveness. In fact, if you wait until you feel like it, it'll never happen. So, I begin by saying simply that forgiveness is the absolute, essential bottom line in growing through a divorce. People who truly recover, who really become whole and move on with their lives, are people who have come to personal terms with the issue of forgiveness. We have all heard the old cliche, time heals all wounds. I have one word to say about that: rubbish. Time does not heal anything. It may diminish wounds, but it does not and it will not heal them. Healing ultimately comes through decisions that we make. Making decisions to do the right thing, even if we don't feel particularly warm about the direction that we are taking. Ideally, forgiveness is a two-way street. It is reciprocal. But ideally, we understand that the world we live in is far from being ideal. And sometimes it simply doesn't work out that way.